Welcome to the Grow Podcast. I'm Wendy Jo, and this is Ashley.
Hey, Wendy, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I love the topic today. We're talking about stones for spiritual purposes or just general use too, I guess. But I love stones. It's kind of a guilty pleasure picking them up and sometimes taking them home with me. What's your experience been with stones?
Very similar. It just feels like an old friend that I go to meet and bring home with me a lot.
Oh, I love that description, right? I know sometimes it does really feel that way. Like this is mine. Like
Yeah.
I'm holding it and I can just sort of feel the energies. And I don't always know why I'm so drawn to a particular stone until after. Where I know some people do it the other way. They're searching for something in particular. How about you? Do you seek out certain stones for healing work or?
No, well, no, actually, I don't. So, and I feel like I'm fairly new to the idea of even working with them intentionally. So I liked them and I received them from all different like people, gifts. They just kind of felt like it just showed up. And I don't believe those stones I have a good relationship with.
Hmm.
But when I go and I do pick out my own stones, I do it very just show me around. I'll ask the person at the store, like, show me around, tell me what's interesting, tell me what's new. And, they get sick of me, but, I just come in and like, well, what's over here? Why is this there? And I'll ask questions and in their description while they're talking about it, I'll get a feeling and I'll be like, oh, nope, I need to have that one. And so that's really worked out for me. In the
Does
sense,
does that happen also in nature? Sorry to interrupt you. I wondered if you're out on a hike or walking, do you run across stones that you feel connected to also?
um, no, I never pay attention to the stones.
Okay. I was just curious because that does happen to me in nature too. Like I'll usually it's because of a particular shape. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've run across so many times a heart-shaped stone
Oh,
and I'll pick it up and feel like I need to take it with me, or if it has a particular color or glow to it, I was that kid that would come home with a pocket full of rocks, and I still do that. So I just wondered if it was not only in a shop but also in nature.
no, no, not at all. Like I said, this is a fairly new interest of mine, where now I do build relationship. Like it is intentional. It is an experience that I'm having with the stone. I've had a very similar experience with different herbs too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's something that develops over time or what.
So do you feel like you feel it in your solar plexus in your center? Like I'm drawn to this stone or herb. Talking about stones today, but it could happen with other things. Like, do you feel it's intuitive?
Nope, I just feel like they come and they be like, "Hey, Ash, you need me."
That's cool. That's cool. They come to you. And they're
Yeah,
like they're like hello.
yeah. Like you're not paying attention, so we're gonna show up right here. Like that's what it literally feels like that.
Wow, that's cool. I have not heard that before, I don't think. Because I think people go into they start to develop an interest in it and they read about certain stones and go after those stones in particular,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And instead, you're saying the stone is identifying itself to you and saying, "Take me home."
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Like it's weird and it's really bizarre stuff. Like I'll be in the store and I'll be like, nope, I don't want that. And then turn around and it's somewhere else.
Oh,
It's like really bizarre situations that occurred like that. And like I said, lady is telling me about this stuff, it's almost as if she's talking to me, as if she, like, that's what it feels like when I'm like, oh, okay, all right, cool, I'll take that one. Like, it didn't feel like a choice.
Right, right. Because so I have a friend who says all the time, everything you want wants you, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think this applies in this situation. You know, it wants you as much as you might not know that you want it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in the reverse in a way. Uh, what wants you, you'll find out that you wanted it.
But I love people like you who identify with like certain aspects of the stone. So my kids are also like that, where they'll be like, oh, and my husband too. Oh my God, like this one has these flecks of crystals in it. And it's like they're going through this whole very detailed experience with whatever this, thing is. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, you know.
So I wonder, are you in general more of a big picture person rather than looking at the little details?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
100%.
So that could apply here for you. I am also more of a big picture person, but for some reason, where the stones are concerned, I think I just, when I see certain stones, whether in nature or in a shop, I feel it, in my gut, in my solar plexus. I know that it's something that I want to hold when I'm meditating, or that I feel like if I keep it with me, in some way, I'm carrying that kind of energy that comes from that particular type of stone.
Mm.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from with it.
Yeah, very cool. That's very cool. I would love to be able to have an experience like
We always stay open, but at the same time, we're all different,
that. Yeah,
and you're having your experiences. It's just in a different way.
yeah.
And on that note, we'll be right back. Wendy Jo with the Grow podcast. We're talking about stones and crystals today, a subject that's really near and dear to my heart. Most of my life, really, I've resonated with stones and crystals. Sometimes just walking outside, a stone will jump out at me. Sometimes I notice its shape and or feel its energy and want to take it on my way in my pocket. That happens also in spiritual shops. I prefer not to look up what the stone's meaning is or what its properties are beforehand, but instead to kind of run my hand along the stones and see what energy resonates. And when I take it with me and look it up later, inevitably it's something to help me on my own spiritual healing journey. What are some of your favorite stones? And we're back. We're talking about stones today. So, Ashley, what are some of your favorite stones?
So amethyst has always been a fan fave since I was a little girl. It's also my birthstone. It's also my favorite color, purple. So that always stood out to me. Always had jewelry that was amethyst. I always enjoyed getting, those birthstone gifts. And from there, I would like to say black tourmaline is one of my favorites.
Mm. Hmm.
I
So,
have,
has black tourmaline jumped to you in the stores? I'm curious.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. That's not a common one that people are really pulled towards. So, what are your thoughts about that?
I actually feel like I have this attraction to very, very highly energetic stones that want to make my life just a tad bit tumultuous. That's what it feels
All right. You need a little drama?
like. Yeah, pretty much. I just recently got a issue of stone, which that is very similar in nature, and a very profound experience with this stone. And I'm like, but why? Why? Right?
Mhm.
Like, so, and then blue opal, I love her.
Yeah,
And
nice.
then I have a blue aventurine and a green aventurine that I really enjoy.
Mhm.
And so I'll stop there.
No, that's all right. So when these stones jump out at you and you take them with you, Do you then look up any of the properties, or do you intuitively feel their properties? What is your process with them?
So I sit with them first, just to observe them and just know what I'm doing. And I give it a little bit of a personality.
Hmm.
And that's why it's like she and he, like
Yeah.
the whole thing. And then I take them and I use my sound bowl with them and I'll cleanse them that way. And then I also do my incense and then I'll hold them again because now I have my Reiki energy because I'm a new practitioner. So I'll sit with them and charge them that way. I used to do sun, I used to do moon, I used to, put some of them in water. I used to do all those things, but I never really felt like it did anything. But with the
Mhm.
Reiki energy, I really appreciate it. Um, and then I'll just spend time with it. So I've been doing these wraps
Oh, I love that.
so I can carry them with me. And so that way I can just be with the stone and develop a relationship with it over time.
Hmm.
So just trying to find different ways to do that. I know some people like take it to bed. Some people will like eat dinner with it and stuff like that. I don't really do that. I just like it to be with me. I might hold it. I might walk around with it in my pocket or something. So yeah.
Right. Very cool. Yeah, I think I love when people wrap the stone themselves in whatever way that they want it to be, because it's kind of like marrying yourself to the stone in a way,
Mm-hmm.
so that's beautiful. Um, you mentioned different ways to, cleanse and charge crystals, and you can look that up on YouTube, on the internet. There's all different ways people recommend, whether it's sitting it in sea salt overnight, putting it under the moon or the sun, as you mentioned, cleansing with spring water and then sitting in the sun to dry. I've seen so many different things. But I love it that you found your own way, because all of those things are rituals that other people developed and said, this is what you do, right? And that's cool. You might want to follow that advice. But when you find your own way with any of these things, it really resonates more with your spirit, with your soul. And I think that that's the most important thing, finding the way that works for you. We're all individuals. The stones are all individual.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's actually the most important. So, like I said, I feel like I'm new to intuitively or intentionally working with them because they didn't really resonate with me that way. So I had
Mhm.
them, but we hadn't really connected. And there's still some that I have that I still can't really like build a relationship with for some reason. And probably it's because I think this is my theory that I don't know, like I don't have a story, like we don't have history together.
Right.
It's like the ones that I get from the store myself, I'm developing that history, like, oh, I remember that day I picked you out and this happened and la 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 la. And I'm
Right.
with other people too. We have relationship through building up that historical connection.
Right. It's true. I mean, it has energy all of its own, right? Like, and an aura, and just like you do. So you're bringing it to yourself, and that history helps you to feel more connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am definitely drawn to certain stones also. Labradorite is one of my favorites. I have a piece here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that this was given to me by someone that I did a reading for. It's absolutely beautiful.
That is
And
beautiful.
Labradorite has flashes in it of, you can see the blue. It's just a beautiful stone. I have jewelry made of Labradorite, prayer beads. I'm just like really drawn to it. And I feel like it connects with my higher self.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm holding it, I feel more centered and balanced. I read that it can inspire hope, and a friend of mine used to call herself a hope dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And when she said it, I was like, I kind of feel like I'm a hope dealer too, because I've met so many different people that really don't feel that hope, and I find a way for them to see it. I was raised. My dad didn't believe in hope at all. He told me hope was a ship that sank.
Oh no.
But I really never believed him.
Mhm.
Not fully anyway. And I have this selenite heart. Um, so selenite, if you're not watching, if you're listening, it's a white. It kind of has, it's kind of opaque, and it has lines on it that I love to hold in my hand and feel the lines. In fact, sometimes I like run my fingernails to smooth them out on the lines, which
Okay.
makes me feel more connected to it also. And selenite comes in wands too. This heart's really special to me, um, because I was walking in a labyrinth that a friend of mine has. And at the end of it, and when we got to the middle, there were all these stones in a bowl. And this was in there. And I picked it up immediately and was holding it as I walked back out of the labyrinth. And she said, "I think that's yours."
Oh,
It kind of like jumped out at me,
yeah.
like you were saying, like it was just like you need that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
And I feel like selenite is kind of grounding and um, creates energy. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't. Again, I don't like to memorize like properties so much. I do look them up, but they kind of go in and out of my head. It's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
um, so there's that, and then my biggest favorite really is rose quartz, and I have this rose quartz. It's kind of egg shaped, and it's got a line around it, which I love to run my finger around it. But I have lots of rose quartz jewelry. You know, rose quartz heals your heart.
Mhm.
I kind of live in my heart.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. And I feel like it's very healing to the heart and the heart chakra, and can kind of bring people back into their heart if they've moved too much into their head, or they're not connected to
Yeah.
their heart.
Yeah.
So those are my faves.
You have some really pretty pieces. I love them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, some of them have been given to me, like I said, which for me makes it more special. Um, but some, like that rose quartz egg, I just like it jumped out at me in the shop, you know, and I just had to take it with me. It was telling me.
You have some really beautiful pieces, and that is really fascinating. But
Thank you.
take a break.
Yeah, let's take a break. We'll be back. Hey there, Wendy Jo, co host of the Grow Podcast. Also, Wendy Edge, occupational therapist. And I wanted to tell you about my new business where I'm combining the principles of occupational therapy, coaching, and spirituality, and wellness, of course. On the website, you'll see that I'm doing Osho Zen card readings, spiritual coaching, spirit paintings, and so much more. So if you want, check it out, edgecoachingandconsulting.com.
Have you heard of the Cannabis Nursing School? It's a place where cannabis nursing, entrepreneurship, and spirituality meet. The Highline Tribe is waiting for you, and it's so easy to find. CannabisNursingSchool.com.
And we're back.
So I had a question for you. What do
Okay.
you do to cleanse and charge your stones?
So mostly, I don't do very much. I'm going to be honest. People probably will be like, oh, I really don't. I take them home. I usually clean them and just sit them on paper towel to dry, and then they go right where I want to keep them in my house. I have on occasion sat them in salt. If it's a stone that I'm going to use, um, like as a pendulum, or that I want to make into some type of jewelry or give to someone else, I would sit it in salt to kind of cleanse it overnight and brush it off. That's it. I am not a very ritualistic type of person. And so for me personally, it's, that's really all I do. But I know that some people really like the ritual of it and feel that it impacts the stone and their use of it. So I think whatever works for you. I love it that you're, giving them Reiki and kind of balancing them out. It seems like that's very cool. And I think really finding your own way, like we said earlier, is really key.
For sure. I have found, so generally I identify with not being ritualist. Like I don't do the same rituals every single day. I kind of move
Mm-hmm.
and do what feels good in a day. But when it came to the stones, I found it to be really, really therapeutically grounding.
Hmm.
And that's why I've kind of leaned into that as more of a practice that I do. And I don't do it every day. I just do it when I feel like it, when I'm feeling like using my hands and like getting myself out of my head. Um, and so, yeah.
Right. I think it's important. I do. I do believe that stones can collect energy,
Mhm.
um, unless they're sort of neutral, like kyanite or citrine. They're going to collect energy. So I do think it's good to find some way to cleanse them. But I kind of, for me, it's an intuitive thing. So I might, like, let's say I pick up that rose quartz egg, right? And just doesn't feel right to me, then I'll think, oh, maybe I should, cleanse it, give it some energy, sit it in salt, do something that will clear it a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think that that is your ritual though, to pay attention enough to know when your stone needs to be cleansed or charged or whatever.
Right,
Uh, yeah, so just listening to yourself.
right. And, stones make great pendulums. Um, the two I mentioned won't pick up other energies, so they're great for pendulums. But you can use any stone that you're really drawn to, and or even metal or wood is actually the best thing to use for a pendulum because it's not going to collect any energy at all. A wooden pendulum is really perfect. But people love stones, and if you feel connected to something and feel like you want to use that to connect, go for it. I don't think there are a lot of rules. People, I think part of human nature is to make rules about stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And especially when we're talking about something as highly energetic as this is not a conceptual experience that you're having with these stones. Like just enjoy, just be with it, resonate
Right.
with, align
Right.
with it, you know?
Mhm.
That's
That's
it.
great advice. Align with your stones, use them as you see fit, cleanse them as you see fit. And as you're doing that, you're developing your own way. And really, that's the most important thing.
For sure. For sure. I agree with
Well,
that.
well, this has been part one of our two-part series on stones and spirituality. And in the next one, I'll be interviewing Chandra Batra. So this has been great. Thanks for sharing, Ashley.
Of course, you too.
All right. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.